What is good, everybody? I hope everybody's having a great day today. I meant to go ahead and post this yesterday or do this video yesterday for y'all, but today is today, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Number G takes, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everything that y'all do, all the support. You know, if you have any type of criticism or anything like that, be welcome to DM me. Anything that you guys would like to see, just let me know. But without further ado, for one, I wanted to get, just real quick into the topic of the Micah Parsons trade because I never really talked about it. I think that was absolutely wild. You know what I mean? And the simple fact that we went from business to personal so quick is kind of crazy to me, especially when you do have one of the young stars on your team and, you know, should have kept him. But I just think that was just a crazy situation because to me, I think he always wanted to be there. Micah Parsons wanted to be there. But to see Jerry just kind of ruin it over, a conversation that you were supposed to be having with your star player about, leadership and, going into this year and all the rest of that stuff. And it turns into, contract negotiations. And we all see how it ended up. I mean, we'll have to see what comes from this in the years to come because I don't necessarily think that it makes Green Bay just the automatic championship contender, but it definitely puts them in that race now. Them losing some first round draft picks will slow that down some the next upcoming years. But at the end of the day, you got Micah Parsons. That's one of the best defensive players on the field. So a generational talent, and you'll have him till you're 30 or till he's 30. So it looks good for them on the defensive side of the ball. The offense, they're gonna have to pick it up. But yeah, we'll definitely have to see how this trade, the outcome of it in a couple years. I don't think you're gonna see it right off the bat. But Michael Parsons, that segment is done. We just gonna leave that there. I've already kind of gave my little spiel about it. I think it's crazy that we even had to even have this conversation in the first place. I would have just paid him when he was owed the money. I would have just gave him the money. But Jerry liked to play games, so here we are. But the NFL does start today, and we do have the Eagles going against the Cowboys. I have the Eagles absolutely blowing the Cowboys out. I don't think they finna do any like Dallas isn't gonna do anything on defense now. If they can say, Clark is gonna help them stop the run and all that stuff, I need to see it first. You know what I mean? I don't believe in what the Cowboys got going on until I see it with my own eyes. Outside of that, yeah, I think Jalen Hurts and them boys gonna go crazy because at the end of the day, their offense it didn't really drop off. It kind of just stayed the same, and then their defense, even though they have some new pieces being brought in with Keely Ringo, making his first start and stuff like that. Me knowing him, from being a Georgia boy, him being a Georgia boy, I think he'll be all right. And I think the speed that he has will correlate to it'll help him out if he ends up getting into trouble a lot. You know what I mean? I think that is what's going to keep him around for a couple more years. You know what I mean? I think he's improved every year since he's been in the league. So I think this is going to be his breakout year. I don't think it's going to be too much of a drop off, from Darius Slay and all those boys. All right, and then we got the Chiefs and the Chargers. For this game, I'm going Pat Holmes. Pat Holmes is Pat Holmes, but Jay Herb, this year I need you to pick it up. Like I said, people out here talking crazy on your name, bro. And again, I'm one of the people that do advocate for you. I don't think that is all your fault. I definitely feel like your team be letting you down a lot. And yeah, you might have went out there and you might have pooped on the ground when it came down to the playoff game. But at the end of the day, I still think you're a good quarterback. But you kind of in that Trevor Lawrence type conversation at this point. Like, are you ever gonna get it there? Or you know what I'm saying? And I guess that's like where people are. But I think this year you'll be able to make something happen. But I do got the Chiefs in that one. The Falcons versus the Buccaneers. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I don't really know what the Falcons gonna really look like this year, especially with the right tackle going out for the rest of the season. You know, if we running a lot of 12-man packages, running the ball with Bijan a whole bunch, I can see us winning a lot more games. But I just think that right side is going to be a little sketchy. We're going to see what ends up happening. I think Baker and them boys are still going to make some shake. But I'm gonna go with the hometown guys, especially at home. But you know the Falcons, they love to flip flop. It's like they like to lose at home and then they like to go beat people away, especially in our division. So that could possibly be what ends up happening. But I'm gonna go with the Falcons on this one. I think the rookies will also do a little bit of damage too on the Falcons side. Um, Cardinals versus Saints. I'm gonna go Cardinals. I think this is also Kyler Murray's year that he's gonna have to show people what he's got. Um, and I don't really, not that I don't trust Spencer Rattler. I like what he did in the preseason and stuff like that. I am happy that he did get the starting job, but like I said, he's more like I need to see it for me to believe it. So Colts versus Dolphins. I'm gonna go Dolphins. I'm gonna go Dolphins. Only because I feel like their running game is gonna be a lot better, and if they can protect Tua can make some shape. That's the only thing. I don't really know what Indiana got going on with their quarterback room, and I don't trust Daniel Jones at all. So their defense can be nice all they want to, but until again their offense show me what they could do, I ain't putting my eggs in that basket. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. At least we know they got some bona fide studs in that wide receiver room. You know what I mean? The Raiders versus the Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I'm gonna go with Geno. I think Geno gonna have him a great year. To be honest, went and got Ashton Genty, but at the end of the day, I'm always advocate for Brock Bowers. It just that just is what it is. That just is what it is. That brother right there, he nasty. That's a nasty man, and I do think that he is gonna be 1,000 yards this year and probably more touchdowns this year. So I'm gonna be expecting him to be getting a lot more touches. But I think Drake May and them boys, they're gonna do a little something. And with them getting Trey Henderson, I think that gives them a home run threat. So you're gonna always have. I feel like the Patriots they're slowly but surely climbing back into it. You know what I mean? But as of right now, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Um, Steelers versus Jets. I'm going with the Steelers. That defense is still nasty. At the end of the day, as long as that defense is still on the field, you still got Mike T as your head coach. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Justin Fields, bro, I want you to be great, bro. But for one, I need you to be healthy. That's one. You're not valuable for nobody if you're not on the field. You know what I mean? Two, we just need you to be consistent, bro. Show everybody what you got. We know that. I'm from Georgia. I know what you can do. You know what I mean? So just go out there and play your game, bro. Just minimize the mistakes and the sacks. If you think you about to get sacked, bro, take off. Just take off. Get out of there. Like, don't think too much, in my opinion. Just don't think too much. Um, Jets versus Commanders. Commanders. I mean, my fault. Commanders versus the Giants. I apologize. And I'm going with the Commanders. I'm gonna just go ahead and let y'all know now. I'm here for the Giants' downfall. I am here for the Giants' downfall. Now, my boy, Scottaboo, that boy Cam, he like that. I really want to see what he gonna do this year. So he is the one bright spot on that offense that I do want to see have a great year. But that boy Jaden Daniels is a dog. Been a dog. I've been saying he a dog. That man nasty. And they beefed up that offense. The defense got a tad bit better. They went and got some pieces to put around that defense. As long as the defense can give them a little something, I think Jaden Daniels can win them a lot of games. So I'm going Jaden Daniels on that one, the Commanders. Jaguars and the Panthers, I'm going Jaguars. Again, Trevor Lawrence. You in that same boat. Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert. Trevor Lawrence, y'all in that same little boat. What y'all gonna do? How y'all finna act? You know, 2 or 2, but we seen two then took a lot of hits. So, you know, y'all ain't out there getting smacked around like that. Trevor, I would give you the benefit of the doubt because last year you was getting tore up. But, at the end of the day, I I do expect more from you, Trevor, for sure. Um, Especially with you having a bona fide stud now that could play both sides. You got you some running backs. That defense is always gonna be stout. Like you gonna have to pick it up, big dog. You know what I'm saying? At least you need to be close to touching the playoffs. You feel me? For us to feel comfortable that you are, the quarterback for that franchise. You know what I mean? But I do have the not the Panthers, the Jaguars winning that one. Bryce, I think Bryce is gonna have a great year this year. I do think that he's gonna pick it up. They did put some pieces around him. They did take away a little bit of his comfortability, um, which was Adam. In my eyes, I feel like that was like his go-to comfortable wide receiver. So we're gonna have to see who steps up for him. But I definitely think that Trevor Lawrence and T Mac competition is gonna be nice because again they didn't been going not again but they didn't been going at it since high school and stuff like that, going at it since high school. They went against each other in college, like they just keeping it going. So I love it. I love that they put that first game of the year for both of them, you know what I mean? So that's gonna be a nice one. Bengals versus Browns. I got the Bengals. I'm gonna go with that boy, man. Burrow just he they just that defense is garbage. I just that defense garbage. The Browns are just gonna suck. That just is what it is. But the Bengals defense is so garbage. I don't know if they're gonna end up making it to the Super Bowl or anything like that, but I do expect them to be in the playoffs. Jamar Chase, T. Higgs, they got their money. I'm glad they got their money, but we're gonna have to see what they do. They need to put you know what I'm saying? Put your money where your mouth is, and we need to see what happens, especially this year. Joe Burrow go out there and have you maybe an MVP season. We'll see what happens. Um, San Francisco versus the Seahawks. I think this is where things get kind of sketchy, and it's like I don't really know what neither one of those teams are gonna look like. You know what I mean? Like San Francisco can go either way. Seattle can go either way. I think both of them have some great picks. Seattle went and got Sam Darnold, which, I'm high on Sam Darnold. I think he did great last year, and I think even when he was on the Jets, he was still a game manager. And I'm happy for him that he got his bag and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, he does show he is the example of you don't have to give up on me. You know what I mean? I could come around and I could do a little something. So I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I just need to see what that running game gonna look like for Seattle, and then honestly, can they stop the run on defense? I don't know how bad they were, on defense last year if they were bad, but I think that would just probably be the biggest question mark. I think their secondary is pretty straight. And for the 49ers, I think they got decimated by free agency, decimated, and injuries. They wide receivers can't stay healthy for nothing. So all of them get injured if a piece of paper touched them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They more fragile than a piece of paper. That's what I would look for. They more fragile than a piece of paper. So at the end of the day, shoot, you hit one of their wide receivers one time, he out for the year, no cap. So you putting everything on. I don't know how old Christian McCaffrey is, but he old and he ain't played every game in years. You know what I mean? So that's a lot. That's a lot to put on that one man. So we're gonna have to see what San Francisco do. I think the defense should be okay though. If the defense can at least stop the run, I think they can make some shape. Titans versus the Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos only because I just think they have a better team. I think their defense got a little bit better too, and they have one of the up and coming stars, and Pat Surtain. I think he's gonna have a great year this year as well. the question mark for the Broncos, I think, would be the stopping the run in their run game. If they can get both of those, in order, I think that's a playoff contender team. Titans, I don't really see them doing too much of nothing, but I do think that Cam Ward is going to be a little bit of a difference maker, so he'll be able to keep them in some games, and him having a security blanket like Calvin Ridley helps out with that. I think that's a great add-on and a great piece for him to build his career around. But I definitely have the Broncos taking that one. Packers versus Lions. I'm going with the Lions. I'm going with what I know. And what I know is that defense is still like that, and that offense still like that. The coordinators might be gone, but the players are still the same. And I don't expect for them to just come out this year and just not have a great year again. I mean, shoot, man, half the league can't even stop one of their running backs, let alone both of them. So, stop both of their running backs. How about that? Then let me see it. Then I go, okay, maybe the Giants is falling. I mean, the Lions is falling off. The Packers, I do think, like I said, they did get better on the defensive side of the ball, but I don't think their secondary is still like that. So if they can't stop the pass, even if they do maybe stop the run, like it ain't gonna really help them. Micah Parsons ain't even gonna be out there all the time for the next 2-3 weeks because he's having spinal issues, and spinal issues can lead to some serious problems. So I think they definitely are trying to monitor that, very closely before they put him on the field heavy. And a lot of people are very high on Jordan Love. I'm not. I'm one of the people that's kind of like in the middle. You can kind of throw him in that realm of Kyler Murray, J Herb and Trevor Lawrence. You could put him in there. Tua, you could put him in there. Yeah, you can put them in the same type category or whatever, because at the end of the day, I don't know what it is, but you can look good for the first 6 games, bro, and then the last 6 games, 8 games, that brother he'd be a whole different person. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, the wide receivers are fragile as paper too. So again, he like in that predicament with Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? The wide receivers need to stay healthy so they can build that chemistry and stuff like that to really do something. But like I said, sometimes he be making mistakes. How you go from having 2 interceptions throughout the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and then you end the season with 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. How does that happen? You know what I'm saying? Too many mistakes. Either he trying to force the ball or whatever. They need to fix that. If he fixes the turnover problems and stuff like that, then we might be having a different conversation at the end of the year. But that's my criticism to Jordan Love. Rams versus Texans. I got the Rams. That defense still gonna be top tier. Matt Stafford and his back, it's gonna always be a question mark. But I feel like if he is able to play at least 80% the first couple of weeks, and they can get a couple scores up on people, and they can give them a little break every now and then, putting Stetson in. If they can get some blowouts and put Stetson in for a couple reps, so Matthew not out there all the time, I definitely feel like that will help them. But I think the Rams' success is definitely predicated on how Matt Stafford's health is, and I think that's honestly the problem with a lot of these quarterbacks. To be honest, a lot of these players, they need to stay healthy. If they healthy, then we'll be able to see what they'll be able to do. But yeah, I think Matt Stafford is going to have him a great year though, if he's able to stay healthy. CJ Stroud, you had you a down year last year, but brother, I already know you're gonna come back this year and have you a better year. Hopefully that y'all have fixed the offensive line issues, because I don't think that was all on CJ. I think that was definitely the offensive line as well, and the run game. I'll have to go back and see how well the run game was, but I definitely feel like if they're able to fix those pieces, then they'll be able to turn around, from what happened last year, and possibly be able to make it back to the playoffs. The defense is always going to be good because Will Anderson, and honestly and truly, they have they have good players in every section of that defense. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do this year. Ravens versus the Bills. I'm going Ravens. I think Lamar. I think this is Lamar's year. I think last year he got snubbed with the MVP. You know, everybody can say whatever they want to say, but at the end of the day, you can say the MVP is not a stats reward, but in every other sport, shoot. Anyways, all I'm gonna say is them stats from last year was ridiculous, and he ain't win. So I think this year he gonna come for that hard. Anyways, I think Josh Allen's gonna have him a crazy year as well. I'm gonna have to see what the defense looks like. If the defense can put it all together, then they might be the team to beat. Because I don't really know what Kansas City's defense is gonna look like, and if they can't protect Pat Mahomes this year, then I don't think they're making it. I definitely don't think they make it. Cause I don't think the Ravens or the Bills gonna let that happen this year if they can't protect him. I think that's gonna be a really good game, but I'm expecting a lot from Derrick Henry this year as well. Derrick Henry, man, tote that rock, bro. Run these cats over, bro, and get your butt in the end zone. Take over the game, bro. I seen you take over the game so many times in Tennessee. Can you do it now? It's y'all turn, bro. You don't want the championship bad, bro. The wide receivers be selling y'all way too much. The tight ends be selling y'all way too much, bro. Can you and Lamar just handle business? I just look, read option every down. How about that? Read option every down, shoot, and then do the read option pass every now and then. Cause shoot, they gonna come down. You gonna hit it with the read option. It's gonna be a fade wide open. Just hit that thing. Gone. Like I'm telling you. Let me call the plays, coach. Let me call the plays. Look, I got us. I'm gonna tote the rock. That's what we gonna do. Now I'm playing. But yeah, I got the Ravens. I'm gonna hope that Lamar come out strong because I think this is his year. I think he's tired of having that narrative over his head that he can't get over the hump. Even though it wasn't his fault in the playoffs last year, I will give him the one fumble. I don't know if he threw a pick. I can't remember if he threw a pick. I will give y'all the fumble in the beginning of the game, but he brought them back into the game and had the winning touchdown. So I need everybody else around him, including him, to step up. Y'all got the best roster in the NFL outside of the Eagles. Y'all need to do something. Vikings versus the Bears. I'm going with the Bears strictly because I think they head coach is probably going to have Caleb Williams in a better place than where he was last year, and I'm gonna have to see what JJ look like. And I think that I think the Vikings are missing like one of their wide receivers, and then the other one's suspended. So I think, yeah. So one's hurt, one's suspended. Then all you got is JJ for real. JJ can't carry the team all by himself. You know what I mean? And I don't really think they have a running back that can really help them out, to be honest. So we'll have to see what their run game looks like this year. The defense is still gonna be nice. So if the defense can keep them in the game, then they can win. They can win football games for sure. But I definitely have the Bears because the Bears put so much around Caleb Williams. It don't even make no sense. The offensive line is revamped. I mean, got the best offensive line in the league at this point, to be honest. You got one of the best running backs. You got 4 of the best wide receivers in the league. You know, even though 2 of them still need to be proven, but still, you know what I'm saying? 4, in my opinion, and 2 tight ends. So that's a lot of pieces. I feel like the defense is still going to do their thing too. So I think they got one of the better secondaries in the league as well, but they're going to have to pick it up too. The defense is going to have to pick it up, but I feel like that offense should be a lot better. So I'm going with the Bears. But all right, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about my picks and stuff like that. Did I pick wrong? Did I not pick right? You know what I'm saying? Let me know. But like I said, y'all, I appreciate y'all for coming out, and be on the lookout for more videos and stuff like that. Y'all have a great one, man. Peace.